So to drop the tank out of this thing, I prefer doing it this way because I'm running all new line and everything. Some people do the trap door where they cut the deal out top, but if you got a lift, it's not that hard to get this tank out. It's really not that bad. So the first thing you'll do, get the filler neck out. There's normally a little panel that goes right here, but it just pops right out, and you'll undo that bracket right up here. You'll undo this bracket from right there and take the cover out of in there. So that's the first thing you'll do, and then you'll come under here and there'll be a cover. It's just a couple 7mm little screws you'll take out, and then you'll go and take out these 3 bolts here and take out this this upper link right here. So you'll need to drop those 3 bolts right there and drop that link down, and then you will go up there to that bolt right there, that bolt right there, and undo the straps. But I'm getting ahead of myself here. Before you do that though, you're going to want to go right over here, and this is what I did. This is my preferred method of doing this. Instead of trying to undo it all from the top in limited space, you can undo your connectors here. You don't have to do the axle speed sensor, but this right connector, this top connector, you undo both of those. Undo this quick connect here, then you'll come under here and you can undo your feed line from the fuel line, from the fuel feed, and then there was the return, the factory return, but I took that out. But you'll undo all that there, and then you'll undo all the wires, and then all that can pull out with the tank, and then you can mess with all that from whenever you get it out. But so here is the Dash 8 fuel line that I am running, and you'll see here in a second the way I got the clip-on fitting and all that. But it comes down right here. I got it just zip tied for now. I'm gonna opt for some notch head stuff later on. But so what I got going on here is this is gonna come down, and this is going all the way up to the fuel pressure regulator and then to the fuel rails. The stock feed line is what I'm gonna use for my return. And so this is a part of what's going to happen here. This is where the factory return was. It looped out of here and then went back up to the fuel pump. But since this is just going to be the return now, going to the return side, I'm going to take this block out. I'm going to have to cut each side and flare it, and I'm just going to put a piece of fuel hose right there and clamped. So yeah, once I get that done, y'all see the video of putting the tank in, or their fuel pump in, and getting it all hooked up and everything. So I also painted these painted the straps too, because mine were rusty as hell. So if you get yours all taken down and those are rusty, you might as well go ahead and clean them up and shoot them with some paint real quick, just to keep that from rusting up. Since you already got it out, you know, it's a good idea, just go ahead and do it. And I also didn't mention, once you get that bolt out, those 2 front bolts out, once you get this loosened up, you can kind of move the tank around a little bit. You can actually twist this up sideways. These 2 rods, you can twist them sideways and they'll come out, so you can get them all the way out and out of the way. So I thought I'd go ahead and mention that too. All right guys, we're back here at it again, and some unfortunate stuff, but it's just how it goes sometimes. This bracket way back up in here, if you can see this, stops these aftermarket fuel rails from fitting. And when you take these bolts out to try and get that bracket out, they're too long to come out, and that's just intake bolts. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go ahead and take my intake out, and that'll make it to where I can get this 2-bar map sensor on the back of it nice and easy. And I'm going to go ahead and do the NOx sensors as well while I'm in there. Might as well. I'll get the harness for it, get some new NOx sensors, and yeah, just do some new intake gaskets and all that good stuff. It's probably a good idea to do anyways, because I don't think this intake's ever been off. So we'll get some new gaskets in it, get the new map sensor in it, get the rails on, and we'll go from there. So I'll do a little video here on how to remove it, and as well as some of the fuel system stuff. But check it out, coolant system's full. Just still got to start it up, of course, but got the upper and lower hoses on, guys. So I mean, it's getting close. Going to get these fuel rails on, and once I do that, I can mount the fuel pressure regulator, and then just finish up my fuel lines. You know, make a return from the fuel pressure regulator to the stock feed line right down here. And then y'all already seen all that, so here we go.
That girl is autistic. She is autistic.
Alright guys, so there is the intake off. So I'm gonna have to get it all cleaned up and everything, but to get to your NOx sensors, they're right underneath this bad boy right here. That one just popped, but that's how they do when they get old and crusty. Didn't even give me a chance to undo the connector. The plastic just broke. But that's alright, because I already planned on replacing them and replacing the harness. So I'll get these out real quick, and then we can go get some new ones. So here is the intake gaskets. Man, I am glad I ended up taking this off. Those dudes are smashed down. I mean, I'm surprised. I mean, there's a lot of residue in between them. I mean, I'm sure some of them were leaking a little bit. But I'm going to get these intake runners cleaned out a little bit and get some new gaskets and get it all cleaned up. You see how the injectors are sat down in there with those aftermarket rails, and they look pretty straight and lined up with the port, with the stock rail, or with those aftermarket rails and everything. So that's good. So we get these, get these picked out, and get all this cleaned up and go get some gaskets.